What's up, everybody? Hey, this is called a splice. We're going to talk about open splices. Why does it matter? Why does it pull up on home reports? If you got an older house or you just purchased something, it might have popped up. Why is it a big deal? We'll talk about that for a moment. So, what is a splice? Well, a splice, these are called Romex cables. Okay, this is a cut piece, but this goes throughout the attic. With this jacket on, it's rated for the attic in that location. But with the jacket off, that's where you see the wire, okay? The wire's behind this jacket. Well, once jacket is off, this wire is very vulnerable. Not only will like rodents chew it, or it might get damaged and start getting hot, it can start arcing. Someone could lay across it and get shocked or step on it when they're moving, Christmas decorations or something like that. So there's a lot of reasons to have this closed off. That's just what it's rated for. Is if it's going through a crawl space or an attic, it needs to be covered like this. It can't be exposed. So what happens if it's an older house, maybe they added some can lights or a fan or, new plugs or something, and they wanted to splice in. Well, what would happen back in the day is handy guys or, guys like my uncle, they would make things work. That's how it was done. So they would just cut into the wires and then make a splice, maybe like this, and these are called wire nuts. And they might do that, and they may even, put a good twist on it or something, you know what I mean? And like, yeah, that's good. And shoot, they're gonna be really safe. They're gonna put some black tape on it, right? They're gonna tape up their connections. That was a pretty popular thing. Well, that's just not acceptable. Okay, it fails so much. You might have lights flickering. You may have things going on in your house. You may have an older house, or if the house is built around Vietnam time, there was a shortage on copper, so they would make aluminum for the smaller wiring, which isn't allowed anymore for new wires, but there's still a lot of houses that have aluminum wiring. Well, at that time, they would just splice it like this. Those connections, aluminum copper, would get hot and cause a huge fire hazard. So if you have an older house and lights are flickering, you could have bad connections all throughout. That's part of it. It's not safe. That's why they stopped making it. But they do have these type of connections now that are better for aluminum. They're rated for aluminum. These are called Lumicons, but there's different types of connections, but normally they're purple, and that's the aluminum to copper. But anyhow, so if you have a connection like this in your attic, it might be under insulation or something. Your home inspector, whenever you buy the house, that's going to pop up, and it's kind of out of sight, out of mind, and people don't really think about it. But if this fails, it's going to be exposed and arcing around insulation, dried wood, and so it's not a good thing to have that going on in your attic. So what we have junction boxes like this. These are rated for that type of temperature, and so you can have these connections tucked away inside of the junction box, and then when they enter the box, it'll get strapped or secured like that with a staple of some sort, so it doesn't get pulled out or get loose. That's the proper way to have it done. It may look like a box like this. That's like an outdoor box. And maybe a thin box like this for a fan. This needs to be there's a stud there. This might screw in and the connection's there. But if you just have an open splice going in your attic, that's very dangerous. So that's all we do is we will break the wires apart, put it inside of a proper box, secure the box, and then we make the good connections. And we're not going to put the tape on it or anything like that. It's going to be proper. We don't rely on electrical tape for our connections. So we're going to have these in there good, and then it'll be tucked away, and then there'll be a cover on the box, and that's what's allowed and rated. And what happens if the connection starts failing inside of that box, this will maintain those sparks and maintain that heat. It'll keep it away from your insulation, your rodents or dried wood. It's going to keep it away, and what it's going to do is it's going to make the circuit stop working before it starts shooting sparks out. Once that circuit stops working, hopefully your breaker tripped off, hopefully there's signs and you're like, hey, I need to do something. Hopefully you don't just let it keep on going. If you do, that could cause, problems. But if something stops working, that's part of the diagnostic process. We'll go through and trace out the circuit and see if there's open splices, because that is definitely a common cause of issues. So anyways, hope this is useful. And if you have any questions about open splices or your home selling report or buying report, that's stuff that we do all the time at Cool Electric. And if you're in the DFW area, we're happy to get you taken care of. All right, bye.